In the quiet of the morning, where the sunlight meets the sky, I can hear the angels calling, soft as stars that never die. Every heartbeat tells a story, every tear can turn to gold. There is healing in the silence, there is warmth inside.
Hi, everybody. Woo! I just love my song. I hope that all of you are like, singing and dancing and making moves to the song. I love it so much. I caught myself actually listening to the full version today. I'm in my office and I've got it playing. I love it. It turned out so good. Good to see you, everybody. Hi, come on in. Donna, the early bird, thank you very much for everything you do for me, Donna. Susie, thank you as well, honey. I've got like amazing moderators. Hi, Char F, good to see you. Hello, Krista, another amazing moderator. Hello, Susan. Where are we? Hello, Rachel. Good to see you, honey. Good to see you in chat, girl. Oh, sure, why not? How's it going? Good to see you. Sharon D, good to see you. Holly, good to see you. Holler Girl, welcome back. Dolly M, welcome back. Mary Ann, good to see you. D White, welcome back, honey. It lifts your spirits. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I love it. Hi, Sunshine. When I did hi, Miriam. When I did the song, I put in, because it's all AI, right? I said, please do it in the sound of something that sounds kind of like Amanda Marshall. And that's how it came out. Pretty good. Hi, Rhonda. How's it going, everybody? Please hit the thumbs up button for me as we're getting started. Letting the chat or letting the audience build up here. Thank you. Thanks. You guys always have such amazing compliments for me. Thank you so much. So we're going to do Lynette Hooker and Nancy Guthrie tonight. Hi, Let Them. Good to see you. No problem at all. No problem at all, honey. All good. Hi, Barb. Good to see you. Yay. All right. So we're all here. Hi, Starbright. TJ. Chat is filling up. Good to see you. So we're going to start off with Lynette Hooker today. There's a lot that Ashley Banfield's done, and I haven't been able to watch any of it. So I thought, well, hey, let's do it together. We'll go over the stuff that Ashley's done the last couple of days. And I want to start off with a case that happened here, right here in my town, in the Okanagan first. That is very, very similar to this Lynette Hooker case. Savvy and I were walking today, and he's like, "Do you remember that case here on the lake?" I'm like, "Wow, it's almost like identical type case." So I just want to show you guys this quick before we jump into Lynette stuff. Good to see you all. Hi, Crimson. So everybody, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button for me. And I would like to show everyone I do have a goal set for today. If you could please help me reach my goals today, that'd be amazing. Any sort of support helps my channel. It's actually becoming quite expensive to run a channel, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous, actually. I've had my channel for like 18 years, and we all use this program called StreamYards. Well, it's now like 60 bucks a month or something just to run the software to share videos with you. It's crazy. Hi, Renee. Good to see you. Wild Child. Good to see you. Blue Journey. Thank you, honey. All right. And hit the thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And if you're new and you're in the background and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really helps my channel. It really helps me stay out in the algorithm. It helps me be seen. You know, when you open up your YouTube and it has the suggested stuff to watch, well, when you subscribe and when you hit the thumbs up, it helps me get into that section. So it shows people to watch me. Really, really makes a difference. Going back to the bushes. There you go. Enjoy the bushes, honey. Oh, you're recovering from a concussion. Oh, Rhonda, I'm so sorry, hon. I'm so sorry. Have you had a seizure since then? Have you had just the one seizure, or have you had multiples? That's wild. I remember I did the reading for you on that. Did I do the reading for you on the seizures like before it happened, Rhonda? I can't remember. I think I told you to get the doctor to check you for epilepsy. Was I right? And then you had a seizure like the next day or something? So just rest, okay? Just rest up, honey. Lots and lots of rest. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Rhonda Martin. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that very, very much. Crimson. Yep. Just waiting to see. Oh, yes. Okay. So I did the reading before you had the seizure. I can't remember. That's one thing I just, it blows my mind, you guys, honestly. The medical readings I give you guys, it just, every single one of you have told me how much I've helped you, and it just really blows my mind. It really blows my mind, and it always will blow my mind. So it was before. Holy cow. Well, I'm glad you appreciate me. I appreciate you, and I appreciate whoever is making it happen, honestly. Especially when it comes to medical readings. Medical readings are such a important thing, and I know there's a lot of psychics out there that won't do medical readings. Like, they don't want to be held liable, right? Well, you all know I'm not a doctor, and you all know I'm going to be like, well, get your ass to the doctor. But every single one of you, I've been right on whatever has turned out to actually be what's up with you. It just blows my mind, to be honest. I was actually seriously considering maybe going to school and taking some sort of, I don't even really know what I would do, taking some sort of class. I did find a college that is like a psychic college, and there is one where they have a course for medical intuitives. So, but then I was like, I don't need to do that. It cost a lot of money, right? Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much, Journey. Hi, Brett. Brett, good to see you. Okay, so we're gonna just jump into it and get started here. So I want to show you this first. This is a case that happened here in British Columbia, 2016. Okay, June of 2016. It was wild. I remember hearing about this on the news. Okay, so divers recover body from missing Lake Country woman. Okay.
Joining us tonight, Rick is off. We begin this evening with tragedy on the water. A husband and wife from Lake Country were out enjoying the first Sunday of summer when an afternoon canoe trip on Okanagan Lake turned tragic. On their way back home, the canoe capsized. The woman never made it to shore. Lauren Pullen reports.
Scouring Okanagan Lake, RCMP search for a missing boater. A husband and wife from Lake Country out for a leisurely Sunday canoe trip when the unthinkable happened.
The man and woman were just 30 meters off the shore when their canoe capsized, and both of them.
This is right beside my house. Savvy and I were there this afternoon walking June here.
Fell into the water. Witnesses say neither were wearing a life jacket.
It was about 7:30 Sunday night when police got the call.
They lost balance in the canoe. They weren't wearing life jackets. Not the strongest of swimmers.
The man was helped to shore by a passing boat, but there was no sign of his 57-year-old wife. Family, RCMP, and Lake Country fire crews all searched until nightfall.
We had firefighters, about 15 firefighters in with life jackets doing a search, kind of a grid search in the area to see if they could see her.
Tom Potts saw the couple enjoying a picnic on the beach just minutes before the accident.
The fellow looked up and waved at me, and I waved at him, and off I went and went home. Not long after, I received a phone call to say that there were emergency vehicles down by the vineyards.
Potts would be one of the last people to see the 57-year-old woman alive. Crews suspended their search at nightfall, and an RCMP dive team was back in the water this morning, knowing it was likely now a recovery effort. At around 10:30.
Okay, so then there is an update. In 2019, it took this long, okay? Lake Country husband charged with murder in connection with the wife's drowning, April 2019. RCMP said Lake Country man has been charged with second-degree murder in connection with the death of his wife almost 3 years ago. In June 2016, BC Coroner Service said the body of Arlene Susan Westerveld, 56, was recovered from the Okanagan Lake after her canoe capsized. Official says husband was also in the canoe when it overturned and was picked up by another boat on Saturday, almost 3 years after Arlene's death. Police announced what first looked like an accidental drowning to now alleged have been a murder. Isn't that freaking wild?
Instructing jurors not to be distracted by minor details. Andrew Barry stands accused of second-degree murder in the deaths of his two daughters following the discovery.
Okay, that's something else here. Okay, so anyways, he finally got charged 3 years later. Second-degree murder. And so that's why I was like, there's so much. It's not like identical to Lynette Hooker case. Were there people? No, there probably wasn't. The lake is really, really big, and it depends on where they were, right? They could have been in an area where people just couldn't see them. And yeah. Exactly why unalive? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's, it's evil. Like, I want to ask you all something here. Do you think that the evilness in people, are they born with it? Or is it created through trauma and like life experiences, which makes them turn evil? It's a question that seems to be haunting not just me, but all of us for a long, long time now. It seems like these senseless tragedies are happening. And I don't know. Personally, I feel like mental health has become more of an open topic, right? People now discuss mental health. Like when I was young, you didn't talk about that. You didn't talk about that. If you talked about mental health, you ended up going to the loony bin. Like for real, that's how it was growing up. And if you had somebody in your family that had mental health, you don't talk about it. There's no way you can't have the neighbors knowing what's going on in your family. But nowadays, mental health is like a major, major thing, which is good. It's talked about, it's being treated. Everybody's out there getting help. But I don't know what it is, but to me, it seems like it's getting worse. Like people with mental health illness. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I feel like it's got worse. So maybe it's because we have social media and the internet now. We hear of this. We hear of it openly, when years ago when we were kids, we never did, right? We wouldn't hear about it. It would be in the newspapers and that's about it. But so you guys, you think you agree with me? Yes, it's gotten worse. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But on the other hand, I mean, that mental health is now being addressed by so many different, your doctor, the hospitals, everywhere you go, mental health is now considered like a major health factor, right? It's just too much evil going on. And I guess honestly, I didn't really pay attention to it either until I started doing true crime. You guys are probably all the same as me. You didn't really pay attention to it until you started watching true crime stuff on YouTube or on TV or whatever you watch it on. Yeah. Hi everyone. Hi Ellie. Good to see you, hon. Hi Jen. Hi Jen. Hi Wendy. If I've missed you and not said hello, please don't be upset. I just missed you. That's all. All right, so we're going to jump into it. I want to start with Ashley Bamfield. Anyways, I thought that case was pretty interesting. It reminded me of the Lynette Hooker case, and I was like, hey, let's watch this. Okay, so we're going to start with Ashley. And this one is from a while ago, but I haven't seen it yet, and so I thought it'd be really good to watch. It's from a month ago. Exclusive. Mom says son-in-law could be vicious. Okay, so let's get going. This is fair use commentary. Video credit goes to Ashley Bamfield. We love Ashley. Ashley's channel is amazing. She does such excellent coverage on stuff. Please, if you don't follow Ashley, please go to her go to her YouTube and follow her, and give her a like and tell her I sent you. Okay. Hi, Garden. Good to see you. All right, so let's see here.
It is Friday, April the 10th, and I've just gotten off the phone and a very long interview with Lynette Hooker's mother, Darlene Hamlett. As you know, Lynette Hooker has now been missing for almost a week.
So yes, this is old, okay? This is from a month ago, it says. Growing up, you wouldn't even tell anybody you have anxiety. Right, yes. Yep.
Bahamas. Her husband is sitting in a detention cell right now, waiting to find out if he's going to be charged. And as of this time, it's 6:12 p.m. Eastern time. So far, there haven't been any charges announced, but that could change. And what we've been told is that if they don't charge him by tonight, he'll spend the weekend in that detention holding cell in Freeport, in Grand Bahamas Island, and it's possible there may be charges next week. But they would have to extend the 48-hour hold that they have on him right now. He's facing a world of hurt right now, possibly, though.
Sorry, I was muted. I haven't been watching too closely lately. Has there been charges pressed on her husband yet? There hasn't been charges yet, right? Not yet. Not yet. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue. We got a few things of Ashley's to watch here. And so please hang out with me as we watch this and see what's happening. But I wanted to watch the interview with the mom. This would be really interesting to see.
In the missing case of his wife, Lynette, because the story that he has told the Grand Bahamian police, according to what his lawyer says, according to news reports, just weird, and doesn't pass the smell test if you're a boater, which I am, and a sailor, which I am, and if you've ever spent any time in bad weather in a small inflatable rib or a small inflatable hard bottom boat, a little outboard, which I have.
See, remember what I said? Okay, as we watch this, remember my reading, okay? I was like, I firmly believe that this dinghy story is a load of shit. My reading tells me that they made it back to the boat and he's thrown her over with something heavy, like really heavy, something heavy. Like I was wanting to say, like, did they have a secondary anchor on the boat, like something that heavy to weigh her down? That's flat out what I'm getting. And I'm getting, if they put scuba divers in the water and start looking, that they would find her.
I'm just going over it and it's bizarre. And you've probably heard that Brian Hooker claims that he and his wife had been out and were trying to get from mainland out to their yacht where they had been sailing because they're retired and they're sort of living out the dream on this 46-foot yacht called Soulmate. And the tender, that little, inflatable boat, was taking them from the land.
That is a really small tender too. Like up here, I call it a Zodiac. That's it. That we would call that a Zodiac up here. That's really small. But my readings tell me, nope, they managed to get back to the main boat and then got into a huge fight. Huge argument on the boat. And possibly both of them were drinking. Like, I don't know. I see alcohol involved, like serious, alcohol, fight, abuse. Yeah, bad shit.
And out to the boat, they were driving it, it was theirs, and she just bounced right out. And then the current took her away.
Just bounced right out. Yeah, right. See, and the thing is, like the case I just showed you here in Lake Country in British Columbia, the rumor is it was same type thing. The relationship was not good and they were fighting all the time and that they'd actually gotten into an argument.
And she had the keys to an outboard, which I thought was weird. I've since found out it's an electric motor and there is sort of a key-like device with a string that hangs off it, but it's not wrapped around your wrist. It's not a kill switch. So that's hinky to me. In any case, it's also hinky that when you're in safe harbor where mooring balls are all anchored so that yachts can come up and hook onto them and be parked for the night, safe harbor is safe harbor. There's not like rip currents and tides and that sort of.
Very good point. Yeah. You're in the harbor. It's calm in the harbor. There's breakwaters. It's not going to be bouncy and rough in the harbor itself. Unless they were having major storm, but I highly doubt that. So yeah. Hi, Queenie. Grab the keys in the wet bag. Yeah. So like I've told you guys figure if remember my reading on it. My reading on the case is very simple, straightforward. They were fighting and there was a tussle and she was wearing some sort of purse, like her wet dry bag purse, and I'm getting he used the handle of it and unalived her and pushed her over. Flat out. weighed her down and threw her over. His story is, as far as my readings are telling me, his story is absolute nonsense. And he's panicked. He knows he's done. He knows. Hi, Kim. Good to see you, hon.
Sort of thing typically. So I also think that's a bit hinky. And he's a Marine, and she is an avid boater and has grown up on the Michigan lakes and knows boating safety and is a strong swimmer.
Yep.
This little inflatable boat only goes like a couple miles an hour. It's really, really slow. It's a little electric engine about that big. This is not like, James Bond type, boating. So all of it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And the weather apparently wasn't that bad on Saturday night when Brian Hooker claims all of this happened. Hence, he's being held. And again, they're trying to determine whether they have enough to charge him. And they clearly have probable cause to hold him.
Yep.
Charging him is another matter. So Lynette's...
Hopefully the boat has given up tons and tons and tons of evidence. I'm sure it has. I'm sure we will hear something soon.
Mother, Darlene Hamlett, has told me a lot about their past, about Brian and Lynette's relationship, and it is not good. I know you've probably heard snippets and pieces, but the full picture is that it is not good. And
I can't even fathom, you guys. Can you imagine being in a bad, rocky relationship and then being on a boat, a small quarters boat with someone 24/7? Like, I can't even imagine.
She says that multiple times Lynette has left Brian and shown up at Darlene's door badly bruised and, as Darlene says, badly beaten. And it got so bad that Darlene said that she consulted a battered women's shelter for advice on how to try to get her daughter to leave Brian, and says that every time her daughter left her to go back to Brian, she feared it would be the last time that she'd see her daughter.
Oh my God.
That is how bad this relationship was, according to Darlene Hamlett, Lynette's mom. And she goes,
oh, that's terrible. Okay, well, I hope they nail this guy to the pine soon. Yeah. Karma's a bitch. Oh, that's so terrible. Okay, so I was right about that. I was right, okay? I was just flat out getting abused. I see abuse, I see fighting, I see alcohol, alcoholic, being a serious problem.
Into much more detail in the interview I'm about to play for you, specifically one incident, which is just harrowing, where Darlene says her daughter came back from what she said had been a pitched battle in the cockpit of the sailing yacht, of the keelboat Soulmate, in which she had hit her head and her neck so badly she felt it crack, and said that Brian said to her that he wished he'd finished the job and thrown her overboard. This is a year and a half ago. So hearing a story like that from Lynette's mom, while Lynette is missing and at this point possibly presumed dead, it is very, very disturbing.
Oh my
and then
God.
There's the part about the money, right? There's that nagging part about the money. Darlene says Lynette seemed to have all the money. And it's not a little bit, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. So I want you to hear this interview.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'm sure the mom has told the FBI all of this. I'm sure of it. But wow, and money is involved too.
View that I had with Darlene, and I think, listen, it's really important to understand. Darlene wanted to do this interview because she wants anybody out there, if you are out there right now and you're listening and you feel that you're in a bad relationship, she wanted to do this interview with me to tell you, please don't let it go on too long. Please don't do what my daughter did. Please don't keep going back, because
this is what I tell you all the time, all of you. I tell all of you this like at least a couple times a week. If you are in a situation and it's just as flat out, you are not happy in your situation, leave it. fix it. If you need help, reach out and ask for help from anyone, a stranger, your neighbor, anyone. Get some help. You know, you're on this planet for a short period of time. We're all here. We are all, think of it as a gift that you are here. Like it's a gift that you're here. So enjoy it. Enjoy every moment you have on this planet. Don't waste your time. Like, that's just, don't waste your time. If you're not happy, fix it so you will be happy. Because that's what matters. Especially if you have children, okay? Your kids want you to be happy. Reach out for help. Reach out for any resources that are in your town. Anything. If you're in trouble right now and there's a church down the street, go to the church. Get yourself some help.
Eventually, it could end very, very badly for you. And I am very thankful that she's done this interview with me as a cautionary tale to so many people out there who are victims of domestic violence. Here now is my conversation with Darlene Hamlett. Well, let's just sort of start from the beginning. Oh, I mean, what was it like when you got that phone call from Brian 24 hours after Lynette went missing?
With the lifestyle that my daughter and her husband lived, I had been preparing for that phone call for a long time. So it was short. I have news to tell you. Lynette's missing. Pretty much all that was said. And so later on in the day, I had to call him back. I said, I need more details. I said, this is not enough. And so he went through his day with me, and I broke down. So, I mean, what else would I do? You know,
it's distressing to hear you say that with the lifestyle, it was.
It sounds like he had his story planned. Hey? Planned. I bet you he had this planned for a long time. Premeditated. Well, yeah, kind of premeditated. That's actually, if I was going to read that, that's what I'm getting. Premeditated, but based on opportunity and rage, like based on the perfect scenario to actually act on what he was wanting to do deep inside due to rage, anger. Yeah.
Wasn't an unexpected call. Talk to me more about that.
I can't even fathom.
There was a lot of good times and bad times in my daughter's relationship with her husband. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. They had, when it was fun, it was really fun. And when there were bad times, there were bad times. And the fact that she had left him on numerous occasions before and continued to go back even after she had been hurt was something that was very difficult for me to understand.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of crying, and I had to prepare myself for what I thought was someday going to happen, unless she finally decided she had had enough.
Wow.
I think they loved each other, but they were not good for each other. That's the best way I can say it. They partied hard. They lived a hard life. They lived a full life.
I'm reading it as well as where I'm listening to this lady. Like, I'm kind of just, you guys know what I'm doing. I'm reading it as well. I'm getting that their relationship was a codependency, full on codependency relationship. And it was full of resentment and hatred and resentment and like literally hatred. You know, you get into relationships where, you know, it's rocky, right? And you've got one person abusing the other person. And sometimes it'll be both people abusing each other back and forth, bouncing off of each other and just living their lives like that. And, you know, you get the typical spouse that turns to you and says, well, you won't make it without me. That's what I'm getting here. You won't be able to go anywhere without me. You won't make it without me. You know, that's what I'm getting here. And I feel terrible for her mom. Terrible. Alcohol. Yeah. Lynette's best friend has pictures of a bruised up back. Oh, gosh. Well, I hope this guy rots in hell for the rest of his life.
What was your impression of Brian when he was drinking?
When Brian drank, Brian could be mean, hateful, say unpleasant things.
Thank you, Susie.
That pretty much describes him. He also got physical. This is not the first time there's been where I thought I was lucky to have Lynette in the past. This time it's just like it just progressively got worse. And so this is where we're at now. That's why I'm on here. I kind of want to I want to honor my daughter and tell her story, and also support my granddaughter, who's lived with Lynette and Brian. That was her mother and stepfather, and experienced a lot of.
Do I think he was chatting with another female? I would say yes. Yep. I would say actually more than one. If I'm right here, I'm reading it. Absolutely. Yep. And Lynette possibly figured it out as well. So yes, definite. According to what I'm reading right this second, yes. I'm actually getting like Tinder. I'm getting also internet. He was doing the internet whores, basically. Yeah, totally.
Things firsthand that I never did. I always got the phone calls when she was at her wit's end and couldn't take any more. So.
You mentioned to me before that Lynette left Brian multiple times.
Oh, yes. She left him. It seemed like it ran in about 1.5 years, 2 years cycle. And she'd come home and she'd be like 3 weeks, and then she'd go back. And then this last time that she went, when he had choked her and when she has the bruises on her back and took the picture to remind herself, she was here at my house in Florida, and she was looking for a job. She was going to stay in this house while we were up in Michigan and start over. She didn't want to. She was 50 years old and she didn't want to start over. She was embarrassed because her marriage was failing, and she went back. There was violence in this relationship that I can go back, oh goodness, many years. 2015, there was the police report that people are talking about online, and that was domestic violence because of kids. And my daughters.
Wow. Just crazy. Yes, massive trigger warning. Thank you for doing that, Donna. Thank you so much. Massive trigger warning. Any of you watching right now and you're in a situation, get yourself some help, okay? Do not allow anyone on this planet to hurt you in any way, physically or mentally or emotionally. Do not let it happen to you. Like, I could talk about this for hours, actually. I've been in a couple relationships that were pretty rough. And again, it goes back to what I said a little while ago, is stop wasting your time here. Literally, stop wasting your time. On this planet, your time here is limited, and you are meant to be happy. So fix it. If you're not happy, then fix it. Okay?
Daughter Carly, and Brian's son were in a locked bedroom, and they wouldn't unlock the door. Don't know why. I still don't know why they wouldn't unlock the door. But Brian and Lynette got in a fight in 2015, and he choked her and he hit her, and she had a black eye. Didn't show up that day, of course. I mean, boom, he hit her. And then they had the police come, and because Brian had blood on his nose and there was no evidence of any kind of struggle on Lynette's side, she went to jail. The whole case, it was done, but the damage was there. That was one of the first times that I knew that he could be mean to her.
And there was a choking incident as well. Brian was charged.
See, the choking, that's what I'm getting happened here. I'm getting, choking, strangulation with her bag, whatever this cross shoulder bag she was wearing. That's what I'm getting was done. But I could be wrong. It's just what my readings are telling me of the situation. And so to hear her say choking and strangulation, that's crazy. From 2015.
In a case where police said he choked his own, I think, 12-year-old daughter. Carly said she witnessed it. She had to go to court. And ultimately the jury just acquitted him. But it just sounds like such a volatile relationship.
He did. He did do that. My daughter was the one that tried to pull them apart. And Carly did have to go to court. And so those are the kind of things that Carly saw. She saw him yelling at her and so much stuff that Carly saw in their relationship. So that's why I wanted to support Carly, to make sure that people didn't think that she was just the stepdaughter, that maybe she didn't like her stepdad, and I wanted to support her when she says it was a volatile relationship. It could be a volatile relationship. Now, when you look on the Sailing Hookers, you would think that they were living their best life. Everybody smiles and everything is perfect. But the one thing that I made my daughter do is I said, I want you to document everywhere you go and everything you do, so I know where you are, because I needed that. And she made sure that she did that when you go on the Sailing Hookers and you see Brian. They wanted to have a boat. She kind of wanted to have a boat in Michigan and a boat in Florida. Or
I haven't looked. Do they have a YouTube channel? Or I haven't even looked. Have any of you looked to find their social media? Sailing with the Hookers? Or Sailing Hookers?
Maybe some property in Michigan and one in Florida. But he wanted a boat in Florida and for the warm weather. But they ended up selling everything in 2020, house and the whole content.
You mentioned that she took photos. Lynette took photos of herself to remind herself. What was she trying to remind herself of?
Not to go back.
She wanted some evidence that she would look at and convince herself not to go back to Brian.
Wow.
And yet she went back.
And yet she went back. She was looking for a job. She had this house to live in, and she chose to go back. And I had to get help with that one, because I just don't understand why you want to go back, be mistreated when you know it's going to happen again. And it's just
they have a TikTok. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. I'll look for it later. Thank you.
Cycle. When they were happy together and when they weren't drinking, it was a good.
Okay.
Oh man.
There you go. There you go. She just said what I was saying in my reading. When they weren't drinking. So they were both drinking. Okay. Wow. Alcohol is a terrible thing, you guys. Like, alcohol is just terrible. Terrible. Alcohol has destroyed so many lives. More than drugs. Just, wow.
Marriages have good points and bad points. When there was no drinking, They were fine, but the drinking was their downfall, and he would get me.
Oh,
I think you mentioned to me that you consulted battered women's shelters
Wow.
for advice on how to handle Lynette. Tell me about that.
Well, that was because I just can't understand.
Well, good for you for getting out and taking care of yourself. Yeah, good for you. You're alive, exactly, Yorkie. And things will heal over time. You know, you can be in poverty and be happy. You know, you can be rich and be unhappy. It doesn't matter what your financial situation is. Money doesn't matter. Money doesn't make you happy. So if you're in poverty and you're happy, then there you go. You're happy. That's what matters, right? And you're safe. Good for you.
I could not understand. It just makes no earthly sense. And they said, support your daughter no matter what. Don't criticize and condemn the situation too much, because if he is controlling, you won't see your daughter at all. You know, support your daughter, be there every time she needs you, and maybe one time she'll be strong enough where she won't go back. Crazy to me, but that's what I was told by several people.
And
Wow.
Darlene, I think you told me that Lynette bought a ticket home just recently.
A month ago, she called me and she was crying. And she said, Mom, I can't take any more. I just can't take any more. He's so abusive to me. He yells at me and tells me that I'm a terrible wife and no good for anybody. And that, and she says, I don't know what to do. And I said, did you ask him to stop drinking? I said, is he drinking again? And she said, oh, yes, he's drinking. And I said, will he stop? And she said, he told her he had no interest in quitting drinking at all. And I said, well, then you know what you've got to do. You get over to Marsh Harbor, you get on a plane, and I don't care what airport you're at, I'll pick you up. And she says, I want my stuff. I said, I don't care about your stuff, Lynette.
Yeah.
Just get on a plane. I know my daughter was embarrassed. She didn't want to have a divorce. She tried everything she knew how to.
Hi, Vexing. Hi, hun. That's a thing people need to. There's so many people out there that I understand they get embarrassed because their marriage is failing. I wish people wouldn't be embarrassed because of that. Like, it's, if your marriage is failing, then I see things differently than the average person. If your marriage is failing, it's because it's not meant to be. That's all. And to not be embarrassed about it. It's not the way your path is supposed to end. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, I understand.
To do to make the relationship work. So the next day, because they were always together in a small space in a boat, conversations sometimes had to be short. And so
I think that's why I'm a wise one, Robin. I grew up with, that's all I'm saying. I'm 53 and a life of education experience. It's tough. Yeah, you're the same as me. Yeah, I wish people wouldn't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. If your marriage is failing, don't be embarrassed. Just know that, okay, well, that's obviously happening for a reason. It's part of your journey. It's happening for a reason.
she told me they were working on things. And then I found out that she had bought a ticket to come home to Miami. And a one ticket to come home, but she didn't get on the plane. I don't know exactly why, but she didn't get on the plane.
My friends and I used to have a code word. And the code, craziest word of all, was chimichanga. If I ever came out and said to them, oh, I'd love to have a chimichanga, they knew something was wrong. And vice versa. So do that. Make a special code word with somebody you're close with and let them know.
Do you know the date that she was supposed to fly?
The 11th.
March 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And she had come home multiple times to you before. I think you mentioned to me when we spoke earlier that she'd come back to you beaten up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. The back was bruised. The time before that, her ribs and her side were bruised. She's always, he has a pattern of choking, like he choked his daughter, like he choked Lynette in 2015 and a couple other times.
I'm going to say something here. I've been biting my tongue for a long time. This is happening right here on YouTube at this time with a YouTuber. Some of you have been watching, but JLR investigates. The reason why I stopped talking to him and stopped watching him is because there is alleged domestic violence abuse against his ex, Magnolia. And the court documents are all over the place. Go look at the YouTube channel called Plunder, and she has exposed all of the documents. It's the documents. And all of his fan base, I don't even understand it. They're all sticking up for him. These women are sticking up for him and making excuses and saying that she's lying. And I just, yeah. So, yeah. Women out there, if you're watching, please open your eyes. Please wake up.
Times after that. And I only know, let's say, when it got to be the worst. I don't know if there was any more going on. I don't know. And I want people that are out there, like my daughter, to take the story and understand that maybe this person, though you love them, they may not be the best choice for you. Maybe it's just not meant to be. And it's take a good look at your relationship and get out of it while you can.
His time is coming and he knows it. That's why he's on the run. That's why he's always in different places. Pay attention, people. He pay attention. He knows that they're going to be on him any day now. So, yeah. Go watch the YouTube channel called Plunder. And she's done everything. All of the paperwork. She does amazing FOIA information and stuff. Yeah. It's just crazy stuff. Yeah, oldest stuff. Couple of bridges. Yeah. So protect yourself, men and women. Get yourself some help. If there's somebody out there hurting you, then get yourself some help, please.
If you can. So, go ahead.
When she would visit you, when she would come back from Brian, did she intend to stay with you, and then ultimately she would say goodbye to you?
Go back.
Yep.
What would that be like?
And she's like I said this last time, she was looking for a job. She said, I can't anymore. This was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And ultimately he wasn't drinking and things were, nice on the phone.
Yes.
So, well, I'll give him one more try. And I says, how many chances do you want to give him? Kill you.
What was going through your mind every time she got back on that plane to go back to the boat?
It could potentially be the last time I ever see my daughter alive.
Did you ever tell her that?
Savvy's throwing the ball for Junie across the yard right now.
I don't think so. My husband said he told her. You have to walk such a tight line. You don't want to alienate him too much. You'll never see your daughter again. So it's just, I tried to support my husband or my daughter when she was with him.
Okay, so we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's actually really long. Like, we have another 45 minutes. So I'm going to end it at that. So we have the basic, wow. So the mom has come forward and said everything that I have already got in my readings, which is wild. Wild. Okay, so this next one we're going to watch. This is from 4 days ago, Ashley Bamfield's. Let's share the screen. This, I wanted to watch this right away because it matches my reading. Hello. Watch this. This matches my readings.
Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. I have some things to talk to you about. And if you are like me and you are loving every minute that a piece of the puzzle goes in to actually put the story together of what really happened to Lynette Hooker, as opposed to what Brian Hooker says happened to his wife. And by now, I think you know. But if you don't, quick summary. He says in the Bahamas, she just, fell off the back of the dinghy and there she went. Couldn't reach her. Lots of waves, lots of wind, currents, tides. Oh no, I'm a Marine and I couldn't save her. And she went out with the dry bag, with the keys. And oh, please. Past episodes will get you right up to speed, but it is basically horseshit. The weather was lovely. We have evidence.
I love Ashley.
Pictures, marine reports, witness accounts. It was like glass at the time he says this horrendous thing happened. And everything else after that doesn't make sense either. Floated all the way without any power in his 8-foot dinghy all by himself with one oar and ended up on Marsh Harbor. Well, guess what, my friends? I'll say you're welcome in advance, because it is entirely possible that if my theory is correct, which is you're full of shit, Brian, she didn't fall off your dinghy.
Ashley and I need to be friends. I swear. We need to be friends. She is so much like me. It's amazing. Oh, yeah. The birds are talking. I don't even notice them much. But yeah, I love Ashley. She's so much like me. She doesn't put up with anybody's shit.
You made it back to your sailboat, Soulmate, where you have been liveaboards for 4 years, sailing around, enjoying retirement. I believe you made it back to Soulmate, Brian Hooker. And if you did, guess what, guys? There are lots and lots of cameras on board that boat. So here's what I've been able to piece together based on witnesses, people who've been on the boat, people who have visited, people who have seen social media, people who have received text messages and photographs and all sorts of things. I can tell you right now, on board Soulmate, there were so many cameras, right? If you're a liveaboard, it isn't weird to have security cameras because you are sleeping on board your home, and it is pretty easy to just paddle up to someone's home and hold them at gunpoint and clean them out, right?
Hopefully those cameras have coughed up everything for them. Hopefully they have enough ammo to put this guy away now. Yeah, she didn't fall off the dinghy, Brian. Exactly.
Even kill him. Take the boat. So a lot of liveaboards, cruisers, will have security cameras and weapons on board. We've already seen what looks like a samurai sword on board this boat. So that might have been a protective weapon that they had. I would want one with a long blade, keep me away from bad guys. Some have guns, others.
I haven't done it yet, but I've been wanting to look at like any sort of footage of the boat itself and look for stuff that's heavy. Like, I was suggesting possibly that he used an anchor. Like, I'm getting, he has weighed her down. She is weighed down with something really heavy. So I've been wanting to look at the footage of the boat to see if there's anything that would be heavy, you know?
Don't prefer guns, all sorts of reasons. It's sometimes hard to get in and out of, countries with weapons, but cameras wouldn't be weird at all. And what I have come to learn, my friends, is that Brian Hooker had lots of cameras all around the outside of his boat because
I just became a grandmother to an angel. Congratulations. There you go, Dolly. Congratulations, honey. Fantastic news.
because he would call them up on his tablet or laptop or navigational tools so that he could see navigationally where he was going. He could use the images. This is what family members have told me. He could use those images while navigating. So cameras on the mast, up high, looking around. Cameras on board. And we have discovered just through imaging.
Oh, well, if that's the case, they should have enough to nail him now. If there's cameras, like Ashley's saying, they should have enough to get him. They just need to find her. I actually haven't tried establishing a location for her. I've done, I'm tired. I'm doing too many cases right now, and I really don't want to, flat out. But I see it's very simple. He's dropped her down with something that's holding her down. She's weighed down. And they would find her diving. They would find her. So I don't see her on land or anything like that. At least not yet. With what water does to remains, it's not pleasant. Things might eventually show up on land, but I'm not right now, not yet. I'm getting nets too. Nets, like, did they have netting for crab traps and stuff? Ropes. I'm getting ropes, chains, netting, and weights. Like I said this to you guys a couple weeks ago, those cannonballs. I see these like big heavy weights that my dad had them on the boat. They were these big round weights. We called them cannonballs. And it was for the downrigger on his fishing gear. I'm getting something like that. Maybe he had heavy gear like that. Or an anchor, like something super heavy.
Multiple cameras in that pilot house. Okay, so just imagine for a moment, you see lots of sailboats, keel boats, big boats, over 40 feet, even 30, that some people live on. They're not covered. There's the above deck and then there's the below deck.
So they had scuba weights. Well, there you go. That could be the answer right there then. Scuba weights. Oh my God. They also had a couple of anchors. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you for letting me know that. That's what I'm getting, flat out. Wow.
Not the TV show, but the real thing, below deck. This particular 46-foot sloop had an above deck that was covered with a hard covering that made it like a pilot house. Kind of nice, actually. You could be up there and still not be in the elements. You might even be able to air condition it. And I can tell you a little bit about the air conditioner because I finally found the air conditioner that I'd been looking for, that Brian tinkered with to get his high key to get into the below deck area of his boat when the fire.
That would be really cool, having an air conditioner on there. Huh. I guess it gets really hot over there.
Fire and rescue people and the police brought him back to the boat after his calamitous night.
Yeah,
I'll get to that in just a moment, that air conditioner. So in that pilot house, which is above deck, nicely covered, even the helm, the big steering wheel is under cover, which is kind of nice. If it's raining or if it's awful, you can be under cover. There was a camera that was positioned at the front of that pilot house facing the stern, the back of the boat. Now, that was there over 4 years ago when they were purchasing the boat. We do not know if they kept it there when they purchased the boat or if Brian and Lynette rewired different cameras, different systems. But I can tell you this, Lynette's daughter, Carly, was on board that boat in February, and she remembers a camera in that exact position. And I did not suggest it to her. I didn't send her a picture of it. I just asked her if she remembered about cameras on board. And that was where she directed me to a camera that she remembered. And we, Lindsay and I, went and found that image of that camera right there. And then said, does this?
Well, hopefully the cameras are still there and the FBI was able to get to them. Or I wonder, did he use his dinghy story to give himself some time to hide all the cameras and stuff? Like, have they done footage of the boat lately?
Look like the camera or the place, and she wasn't sure if it was the exact camera, but that looked like the place where the camera was that she remembers. Up under the bimini, she called it. A lot of covers on boats are called biminis, but this is a bimini, sort of whole entire bimini house, pilot house. So there is confirmation that at least in February, there were cameras inside at the front of that pilot house facing the stern, covering that angle. And then wouldn't you know it?
Hi, Angel.
When we looked at one of the images that Lynette sent her family, we were able to see what looked like something that might actually be that camera or a camera in that exact spot. Lynette is holding what seems to me to be a Life 360 camera. And basically you can hold a selfie stick and you can get shots all around you, and it erases the selfie stick. So you basically just have your hands. It looks like you're holding your hands out. And she actually made kind of a funny joke about these are my big fat hands on Facebook, because she's holding the selfie stick and showing everybody who's in that pilot house visiting. These are family members visiting. These are her dad and her dad's wife and other members of the family, clearly in happier times, or at least a happy time. But there is that image that we slowed down on. It's a little hard to see because it's a bit blurry, but you can definitely see what looks like might be
There's
a camera in
up
that
on the
exact
wall up
same spot on the windshield facing the stern.
Wow.
But I can do you one better, or at least equal. That would not be the only camera that we have been able to find. There is another camera that was sent as an image to her family, just basically as a check-in. She did like a screen grab and texted it to her family members saying, we're okay. And it is a shot coming from, boom, the stern, looking forward. And in the top left-hand part of the image, you can see burned in a logo called Blink.
Interesting.
And guess what Blink is? It is a camera. The whole system. Friends of...
well, that's good news. Hopefully Blink will have all the footage then. Oh, that's really good news. That's really good news.
Lynette and Brian's have actually told me that they had Blink cameras. And so we now know that there is a Blink camera at the stern of the pilot house facing the bow, facing forward, seeing all the action in the cockpit that is covered by the pilot house.
Okay, this red bag at her legs here, is that her dry bag? Anybody know that? Is that her dry bag right there, that red bag? Well, I hate to say it, but like, that's a decent sized bag. Like, if you look, she's sitting and it comes up to her chest, right? It looks like it's a pretty big bag. Huh. Okay. Just trying to figure, like, yeah. I'm trying to figure out the weighing down part. What has he used here to weigh stuff down? Could be mandatory for couples to go to counseling after DV episode. Yes, I agree. That's the big enough, right? Exactly, Krista. That's what I'm saying. Whatever this bag is big enough. Yeah, you could put a comforter in. Huh.
And there seems to be a camera from the front facing back.
Okay, so her dry bag is green. It's in one of her pictures. Okay, thank you, Lena. Let me know. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Kind of gets all angles. I like the back camera the best, and I'll tell you why. The back camera facing forward towards the bow also down low gives you an image of below deck. Things that might have happened below deck. I'm not saying anything happened. Brian hasn't been charged with any crime. But if something happened to let Lynette on board Soulmate, as I theorize is really the truth, because the other story he told is bullshit, it is possible that that camera may have caught what happened below deck. Or if it happened in the pilot house, maybe above deck.
Yep.
One thing we do know is that we have no reports from people who were close by, close enough to hear the big splash that I told you about. Remember, there were some people on shore only 100 yards away. They were parked just offshore at Aunt Pat's Bay, and witnesses heard a big splash, like a big...
Wow, they actually heard a big splash from that far away. That's, that would match what I'm saying. It would definitely match what I'm saying. The thing that I'm not getting, I'm not understanding is everybody's telling me that it's shallow there. The water there is not that deep. You'd think they would see something, but they need to get sonar in. Thinking that it's even bigger than a comforter set in a bag, because I just got a set 2 years ago. Still got, yeah. I'm just thinking of, would something fit in that bag? Figure out what I'm saying. With some weights in that bag.
Big one, not an insignificant one, a big one, because it registered with them. And also they thought it was after 9:30 at night because it was late enough that most of the din of island activity had settled.
High 72. I did that yesterday. So go back onto my channel and look at my live streams from yesterday. I did it yesterday, okay?
Down, and it was quiet. It was quiet out in the anchorage where all the boats are anchored. And they heard that big splash coming from Soulmate, which is also fascinating that it stuck with them. I also know that in certain times of the year, it's super busy and a lot of boats are anchored out in Aunt Pat's Bay. But at this particular weekend, Easter weekend, there weren't that many. So interesting. I guess they were able to get a beat on Soulmate. You can also tell, honest to God, you can tell when one sailboat has liveaboards as opposed to just a charter or somebody who's enjoying, say, a weekend or just some time on their sailboat. You can tell.
The other thing I was wondering, did they have a secondary motor? Did they have an outboard motor, like a decent sized outboard motor for the boat somewhere? Because he could have dropped the motor too. He could have used the motor as weight.
Liveaboards, because they're outfitted for life.
Okay, so I don't see a secondary motor down the back. Huh. I don't see an outboard motor there. I was thinking like if he had a secondary outboard motor, like a, I was thinking like a 70 horse Mercury or something. He could easily have dropped the motor with her attached to it. That would be a very loud splash. Huh, interesting.
Usually with solar panels and tons of gear and all their stuff is on deck, like their paddle boards and their dinghy and their extra water bottles and all that stuff. Tons of stuff is above and below.
And the dinghy had a little electric motor, so those aren't heavy.
Below deck when you're a little.
Though, could be. Okay, I'm thinking of everything now. I'm also thinking, what about a battery? Boat batteries are huge. The big, huge boat battery, that could do it too. That would be heavy enough, I think. That's an inboard sailboat. Let me look here. I'm pretty sure that's an inboard sailboat. There's no... Yeah, I think it's got an inboard motor. And he's got solar panels, so the solar panels would have batteries attached to them. And they would be big batteries. I know we had huge marine batteries on our boat. Okay.
the gear and all their stuff is on deck, like their paddle boards and their dinghy and their extra water bottles and all that stuff. Tons of stuff is above and below deck when you're a liveaboard. You have very little space, like so little. And stowage gets filled up. So you end up starting to put stuff on the deck. And so you can usually tell right away when you see a liveaboard, and it will register with you. And also,
I don't know if the trolling motor is missing or not. I haven't heard anything. I don't know. Hi, Spooky. Thank you for being here. Yeah, boat batteries are huge. Yes. Interesting stuff. Hopefully it will. I'm sure the Coast Guard and all them, they know what to look for. I'm sure they've looked. I'm sure they're 1,000 steps ahead of just little me thinking of things like that.
if you're going to sleep overnight in Aunt Pat's Bay, there's a good chance you're a liveaboard, right? Otherwise, you'd come back into harbor and get back on the mooring ball or throw anchor and come back to your hotel or whatever it is, maybe your house, whatever it is you do with your sailboat. Some people live on board. Some people just have visits. Some people day sail, even with a keelboat. And some people do like a night over or 2 nights, but you can.
And living on board with somebody that is abusive 24/7 on a boat, I can't even imagine. It must have been a freaking nightmare. I can't even fathom how rough that must have been.
Tell the ones who live. It's different. So maybe that's how these people in Aunt Pat's Bay knew it was Soulmate where the splash came from, because they had a beat on it when it was light out. And so when it was dark, they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Those are those liveaboards. That's coming right from the direction of those liveaboards. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I am giving you the witness reports that came from very reputable sources. Fire and rescue. Jim Todd is one of the best sources anywhere on this particular story because he has firsthand accounts. He lives there. He rescues. And also he's just a really sober-minded and honest guy with a ton of integrity. And so these reports that he's been taking, sometimes you look at hearsay and wonder if it's a game of telephone. And other times you say, oh no, that's a fair assessment. So it is entirely possible if there was activity on board Soulmate well after there should be no one on board Soulmate, because yikes, I lost my wife and I had no power and I floated for 9 hours and ended up on, the shores of Marsh Harbor. Nobody made it back to Soulmate then. So if there's activity on Soulmate, why would that be? I think we all pretty much know why.
Wow.
The cameras could have even caught it.
Got him.
This episode is brought to you by Wild Grain. If you love really good fresh bread, but you don't have time to hunt down we pulled up anchor at 11:30 in the morning at the Firefly Inn and then went a quarter mile down south along Elbow Key and dropped anchor again in Aunt Pat's Bay.
Thank you very much, Krista. Thanks, hon. I went sailing once and the people I went with scared me. I'll never go again. How so? How did they scare you? I grew up on the water. Maybe you'd be scared of me. I actually have my sailing license. I did a whole course and everything on sailing. Second motorboat. Okay, second engine. Oh, well, we'll see. Interesting. I wonder if it's missing. Very interesting. So, again, I just want to say to all of you, there's lots of you in the background watching right now. Not many of you talking. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being in the background and watching me. Please hit the thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It really, really helps my channel out. It helps me grow. It helps me get out onto the algorithm and be seen. I do have a goal set for tonight for Super Chat goal. I would greatly appreciate any help to get my goal done. It helps me keep this channel running. It would mean a lot to me. So thank you for being here. And this is a wild case. I hope there's like charges tomorrow. I find I'm getting impatient with all of these cases lately. I definitely am getting impatient. It seems like they're just taking way too long. They're taking too long. Too long.
And then took their dinghy to Tahiti Beach to enjoy, Tahiti Beach. It is phenomenal. And then got back in the dinghy and headed north. I don't know if they stopped back on Soulmate before they continued even further north and went in to the Abaco Inn through the White Sound Channel, right? But they should never have been back on board. Not after all that. And Lynette's habit, after a day of being out in the salt water and all the rest, according to her daughter, who was there in February on board with them, was to get back up on board and probably take a shower, which would mean...
Yeah, intoxicants while you're on a boat doesn't work. It's just like driving a car. You're not supposed to be drinking or doing any sort of intoxicants while you're driving a boat as well. It's the same thing, same rules. It's drunk driving. You can get, at least up here, you can get drunk driving for driving a boat drunk as well.
You would remove your blue Conch Republic headscarf and your aquamarine covered bathing suit cover up and your black two-piece bathing suit. Or maybe you'd shower in the bathing suit, maybe just to clean it off from the salt water. It's possible. But all of that is great, but doesn't top taking her Apple Watch off when she gets on board. And around dinner time, putting it on the charger because her Apple Watch was losing battery power. It was getting old and it wasn't holding battery. So she would take it off around dinner time and put it on the charger.
Thank you very much, Teresa. I appreciate you, girl. Thank you very much. Help me reach my goal for the night. Thank you so much. And you know what? I should have these those gift things now on my channel. I activated them today. Can you guys see? Does it show you the icon to do those little animated gift things now? Let me know if you can see the button. It should be down there where you're typing. I thought I had them activated, and then today I pressed the button and it said enabled. But I'm on StreamYard, so I don't think I can even see them anyways on StreamYard. I'm not sure how that works. You can see the button? Okay, brilliant. Yay. All right. Thank you so much.
Well, dinner time, I don't know, say around 7:30, 8 o'clock, because that's the time they would have made it back to Soulmate. If Brian's story's true, they left the Abaco Inn at 7:30. I'm still working on that. And they would have been at the dump zone, baloney, by 7:40, not even. And they'd have been at Soulmate by about 7:41, 7:46, somewhere in there. And hopefully that watch came off, onto the charger, into the shower.
Yep.
Hopefully those garments went back in a closet somewhere where Brian doesn't care enough about his wife to actually care about what she's wearing. And I can say that as fact because he told the search and rescuers, oh, yeah, I don't know. She was wearing just a black two-piece bathing suit. Nothing more. Didn't actually say anything.
Just nonchalantly doesn't give a shit. For some reason, that reminds me of Chris Watts as well. Chris was the same. He just did not care. You can tell he didn't care. Oh, yeah, you're getting your mini Lux box. I can't wait for you. Okay.
Anything about the aquamarine cover-up or the blue Conch Republic headscarf. I sure hope she put those away and that they're still on board the boat.
Yeah.
And our photograph that we were able to get from the Abaco Inn showed that she was wearing those things and the Apple Watch. So if the Apple Watch made it back on board, A, how, Brian? And B, oh, dear Jesus, Brian, that would have connected to your Starlink because her Apple Watch was connected to her phone and the phone is connected to the Starlink and the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. And I am hoping every single piece of Lynette is found. She deserves to be found.
Thank you, Ashley.
Brian killed her. He's not charged with anything.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yet.
She's so much like me. I love her.
Trove on board that boat. Cameras alone. Okay. I'll get to the other digital trove that I know about. But I can tell you this as well. It's not just cameras about.
And he wants to get married again and have kids, a new wife, new life. Wow, that's oh yeah, Chris Watts. Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it?
Above board. There's cameras below board too.
Dude.
There is at least one camera below board that witnesses have been able to mention. And
Jen, you're
let's
being
just
rude.
wonder if that one collected anything. Because remember in the Nancy Guthrie case, she didn't even have a subscription. And yet Google was able to scratch images of that
Yes.
scumbag who took her.
Yeah.
What about
Same thing.
these ones?
Yeah.
What about these cameras?
Blink would have it all on their servers, wherever their main servers are. They would have everything. So hopefully there's going to be like charges tomorrow. They just need to find her.
Might they have caught some?
Though, but I have to say, I really don't want to even try to get involved in like location. I don't want to do that. So please don't ask me. I don't want to do that in this case. I got enough on board right now. Hello, sorry, I can't even say your name. Holinomi. I'll call you Naomi. Welcome, good to see you.
Something below deck and above deck? Maybe sounds, maybe images. It's a lot of cameras. So, TikTok, Brian, TikTok. What I don't know, an old fly on the wall of the Coast Guard Investigative Service and the work that they are doing at the Fort Pierce Coast Guard Station, where they have raided that boat and turned it into a crime scene with crime scene tape, images that we were able to gather in just the last few days. And before that, the exclusive images that you can only see here on Drop Dead Serious, unless someone took them, of that Soulmate yacht being towed in by the Coast Guard after the interdiction off of the shore, 40 miles out. They grabbed it, they towed it in, and then as they got closer to the marina, they actually put Soulmate up side by side and brought it in side by side. It was like a parade.
That's fantastic news. Yay, justice is going to come. Like the lady here in Kelowna, you can see it took 3 years for justice to come for her. But it was same situation. It was murder.
I loved it so much. I was so happy to get those images. I was cheering when I got those images. And thank you to everybody in the marina who helped me. You know who you are. Captain Lou, McKenna and Michaela. Oh my God, you guys. And Greg, you know who you are, guys. Thank you so much for everything you did for us. And everybody else who has helped to get information. David and Ronnie in the Bahamas, I'm looking at you guys. Marina in the Bahamas, I'm looking at you, girl. I mean, there's just so many people. There's Pete and there's Nathan and there's and you. Lynette deserves justice, and it's gonna lots of kudos in many of my episodes, and I with that. And all I can tell you from sources, so that's what I love. And you know, Iker was a master of jigging around with the GPS on his work van.
I haven't heard to talk about weights yet. One sec.
You wouldn't ghost them. So again, these behaviors are the behaviors of killers I've met before.
No
and
shit.
I've got so much more of that in another episode.
Oh, you guys know it. You guys all know it. Those of you that follow true crime and stuff, they just have that look. You know that look? The dark black eyes. The look. I see it here. I see the look. I see it.
But
okay,
and
so
got out at 8 o'clock at night, slept there, did his interview boards. We have a team. We have a village. You guys, you get near Soulmate with your cell phone and your Apple Watches and whatever else watch you have. It's going to connect.
Yeah. Okay, so where's the weight?
Have been able to actually put those pieces in the puzzle. Puzzle's getting real complete. He was an app geek, which thank you monitoring all of it all day long for liveaboards. You know, your freezer on. If you didn't, wah, sucks to be you, Bri. So the other thing I wanted to draw your attention to,
she's great.
We have mentioned this before, but now it's becoming more interesting to me, is that electric engine that, Brian
Okay,
swears
here we
out
go.
Lynette went, grabbed the lanyard and took the key out with her, and the spare key was in the dry bag that she somehow was able.
Electric engines, though, I've used electric engines. They're not that heavy. As far as I remember, they're not that heavy, except the batteries that would go with it are. The batteries are super heavy. They should call it Ventures with Purpose. I agree. Yeah. Hi, Mike. Hi, CJ.
To grab or have on her while she's driving in terrible weather? Bullshit. In any case, that engine was not the only engine they had. We've seen lots of, social media pictures showing a different electric engine. These engines have telemetrics. These engines tell you what they've been doing, and they connect to, say it with me, your phone. Those telemetrics, they connect to your phone, maybe even your.
Oh, I didn't know that. Those electric engines connect to your frickin' phone? Wow, well, that's fantastic news. That's fantastic news. They should have enough ammo to get him now. They sure should. Well, that's so cool. I had no idea they did that.
Watch. And so what's super interesting is the potential of having that second engine. Do I know if on April 4th there was a second engine on board? I do not. I just know they had one. They had one in social media pictures. And what's key about liveaboards is that you don't throw this stuff out. It's important.
It's your
lifeline.
dinghy
is your lifeline, right? It's your life raft. And it is the only way you're.
I'm a psychic, eh? Every now and then I do this. I do it to Savvy too. I'll say what he's about to say.
Getting groceries, really. I mean, they brag all the time about having not touched a dock, right? We haven't tied up to a dock for X number of years. It's a bragging right. And so you get into your dinghy, you throw down anchor, or you grab a mooring ball, you get into your dinghy and you go to shore and you get your stuff. You get what you need. You go to the pharmacy, the doctor, the dentist, the groceries, newspaper, milk, butter, cheese, whatever. You do it mostly by dinghy. So that dinghy is your lifeline, and you're not going to swim. Right?
No.
It ain't like you can walk or ride a bike. Your dinghy is your lifeline. And so having an engine out that doesn't work suddenly is your lifeline.
Deal. Yeah.
Yes,
that's a big
you
deal.
could row. Sure, of course. But a lot of liveaboards would keep a second engine. And I can see Brian and Lynette keeping that second engine. Is the second engine on board? Because if I were a criminal and I had done something to someone on board that I didn't want people to know about, I might have swapped those engines out, taken the old one from down below and put it on the dinghy and gone and done my dastardly deeds on the old engine and come back to Soulmate and swap them out again and taken the engine that I did the dastardly deeds with, the old engine, and just put it back below deck as though, that's the spare. We never use it. But look, the engine on.
Wow, that's a fantastic point. What a good point.
The dinghy didn't go anywhere. I just wonder if that second engine is on board, or if it's not, where is it?
Right.
Because that would tell us a lot too.
Oh, wait. Okay, there's an anchor in the front. There's an anchor in the front here. This is an anchor here too. Okay, this is an anchor right here. This is a secondary anchor. And there's one on the front here. I'm sure authorities have looked. They know what to look for, but interesting.
But don't forget, not having the engine doesn't mean that the data doesn't exist. The telemetrics don't exist on the apps. Brian loved his apps. So I want to bring your attention to something else that's really important.
That's good news.
And that is scuba gear. There's a lot of scuba gear on board Soulmate. They both.
Okay, so this is what you guys were telling me about scuba gear. Right? Yeah, seat cushion that floats. Yeah. This will prove he was paddling or not. Yes. Okay, so this is the scuba gear stuff you're talking about. Scuba weights, I imagine. I don't know. All I know is my readings are telling me it's something really fucking heavy, and he's used it to weigh her down.
Dive. They both have dive tanks. They both presumably have dive weight belts. Okay. And the dude is heavier than the lady, so her weight belt will be much lighter than his. So I sure hope her weight belt is on board. Because if it's not on board, where is it? Where's her weight belt? I sure hope it's not around her right now. And then to the scuba tanks. 2 days before Lynette went missing, she posted going to Guana Key to refill the scuba tanks and showed them grabbing the tanks and taking them in to get them filled. So those are full scuba tanks, presumably. There's no other social media showing them out diving between that time and when she went missing. So those scuba tanks presumably should be full and
heavy,
on board, right? What would happen if his scuba tank wasn't full and hers was? Lynette really recorded everything. If he's going scuba diving without her, she'd probably take a picture. And there better be a really good reason why he'd be emptying a tank if it is empty, or using a lot of a tank if it is used without her, because they did that stuff together. They refilled them together. They went diving.
Huh.
But
Very
I'd be
good point,
to find out how much oxygen, how much air is in the scuba tank, is in his scuba tank. Because if hers is full and his isn't, again, on its own, would that be enough to prove that he did something to her? No, but remember those 1,000 paper cuts I keep talking about? This one's pretty deep.
Yeah,
and as far as weights go, a weight belt for diving isn't the only weight on board. Lynette was fit. She worked out and she had dumbbells. We've seen dumbbells on board. He's using one to hammer something in on the bow at the windlass, the anchor. That's what brings up the anchor. And she was fit. She used dumbbells and we've seen them in social media. So I sure hope that the CGIS agents, the Coast Guard Investigative Service agents, look around that boat for the dumbbells. Because I could see how a very sick person would use dumbbells in a different way than the way Lynette used them. But they should still be on board because they are pictured. Again.
Okay, well, this is completely matching my reading. Holy shit, they just need, where is she? I see, and I haven't tried establishing a location for her at all. I just don't really want to do it, but... She's definitely under the water. He basically had 9 hours to do it. You know, his 9-hour story that gave him 9 hours, basically. Wow.
Enough on its own? Probably not. Together with everything else, another paper cut. Now to the air conditioning unit. I've been looking all over because the fire and rescue guys told us that when they came up next to Soulmate to bring Brian back to Soulmate after his terrible night floating alone, stranded.
Yeah, right.
Brian got up on board with one police officer and fidgeted around with an air conditioning unit and then got something out of it. We think it's his hide key, and was able to then get down below. He has since told people that he had to break into his own boat because, the keys to the down below deck were in the dry bag that went out with Lynette. So I had to break into my own.
Yeah, and there's sharks there, right? Sharks everywhere. It looks like a dream life, but alcohol changes people. Exactly. Turns them into Jekyll and Hyde. I agree, Yorkie. I can't even fathom being stuck together with someone 24/7. Holy.
Own effing boat. Poor Brian. Anyway, I have now located that air conditioning unit. I was told it was back near the transom, and I thought, well, maybe that air conditions the master cabin in the back, but no, it air conditions the pilot house. I saw it in one of the videos that I was able to slow down, and Lindsay, circled it, and there we are.
I see her under the water, like flat out under the boat. Wherever the boat was at the time, where the main boat was, she's under the water. She's weighted down and she's camouflaged. Divers and stuff very well might have actually just gone right over top of her and not seen her. I'm getting she's camouflaged by something. Like, I keep wanting to say netting, like almost like a camouflage netting, maybe. This fucker knew what he was doing. It's definitely something that's camouflaging her. I honestly don't see her being deep down or anything like that. The water shallow. I'm seeing shallow water. They should have freaking found her by now. They should have found her by now. And yeah, they need professional people in there, like Adventures with Purpose or Doug Bishop or whatever. They need people like that in there and looking. Like right now. She's camouflaged. But Mother Nature does bad things in the water, so things should now start to be appearing unless he's done a good job of. But yeah, water's not good on remains. It's very destructive. Brian moved the boat as well. That's why he did so. Okay, well, there you go.
It's there. That air conditions the pilot house so that you can sit above deck in hot weather and still stay cool enough. So there's that unit that I was trying to figure out before, that you'd have to have your, hide key in somewhere that he was fidgeting with. And it just sort of clears up one picture that was a little bit murky. There's another little piece of information that, once again,
air conditioners would be heavy too. Seaweed, yeah, for sure. Like if there was a way that he could camouflage her, totally. Yep. And to be honest, like my readings are telling me, like the location for her, it's really not that difficult. It's not that complicated. They just haven't done the due diligence yet. It's not that complicated. She's not washed up on some beach somewhere. It's literally the due diligence hasn't been done yet to find her. I don't know if the boat's got a black box or not. It should. I don't know. It should, though. But seaweed camouflage, that'd be absolutely perfect. But I'm seeing more of like a net. An actual camouflage net, like almost like an army or marine camouflage netting. Yep.
On its own, I don't know. Coupled with everything else, another.
I see. It's like there's like a big ball under the water. Basically, when the divers, they'll see it. It's a ball. I see a ball. Yeah. Horrific. And not that deep. Not that deep. I'm actually getting 8 feet, possibly 8 feet down. 8. She's visible. If they were in the water with snorkel, even snorkels would probably do it. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm reading.
their paper cut. And that is the weather. I was looking for wind and waves and tides, but I wasn't looking for rain because I didn't hear about rain from anybody, from witnesses. I didn't hear about rain from Brian. Brian sure didn't tell anybody about rain. He wanted to tell us everything else, every little detail, ad nauseum, stuff that didn't even matter. He couldn't stop himself, right? But one thing he didn't mention was rain.
You know, that's always a key sign, right, of liars, or their stories are extravagant. There's just too much detail to the story.
So I guess he didn't get rained on. Or he would have told us, because he told us everything. And here's the problem for Brian. There was rain that night. There was a little pocket of rain on the Sea of Abaco. And so Brian, in his terrible journey floating across the Sea of Abaco with no propulsion, you know, slave to the wind and the waves and the currents and the tide that washed him up on Marsh Harbor, never mentioned a word about being rained on. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was somewhere else at the time that his story would have had him right there in the rain. Maybe he was somewhere else, under power of an engine or oars in the darkness, doing something other than floating. Maybe he didn't even know about that rain because it didn't hit him exactly where he was at the time that rain hit where he was supposed to be. Another little piece of information. Again, another little paper cut. So like I said, all these things all together, they all spell bad facts for Brian, who is not yet charged. Yet. Not charged with any crime.
Okay. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I love Ashley Banfield. So if you're not subscribed to Ashley, please go to her channel and subscribe and give her a like and tell her I sent you. She's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to watch one more. This one, we'll see how long this one is. This one's 40 minutes. So, and then I feel I will be caught up on the Lynette Hooker stuff. So everybody take a couple minute break here. Please hit the thumbs up button for me. If you're new, please subscribe. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. My name is Tara. I am a psychic medium from British Columbia, Canada. And yeah. Verbal diarrhea. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this one is from 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Fair use commentary.
Drop dead serious. Already been through it a million times. I won't bore you all with all the things that are provable about the weather that night, the photographs we have at the exact time, in the exact place.
What a beautiful place.
So that story didn't happen. And then 8-9 hours later, when you washed up on shore.
Those of you watching right now, have any of you been here? Have any of you been here before? Do you have personal experience with the area?
I suddenly have a story that you put on the record. Now, look, I do my best to comb everything, to find everything, to give you all the reporting I can. This one slipped me by. Fox News Digital actually found the security guard at the boatyard where Brian Hooker washed up. And they were able to talk to him. I haven't found it on video. I've just got a transcript from it. But as I read through the transcript, now, like 4 weeks later, it's like, bro, what you said then doesn't match the stuff you told other people or the facts or the evidence. So I thought I'd go through all of it with you, just, you know, like a parlor game. Because at this stage of my life in this investigation, it's literally about finding all the things that Brian has said and showing you why.
I just... I can just... I can see right through him. I see it.
Their lies. Because it's just becoming so... voluminous. It's what I call a pile of bad facts. And if a jury ends up hearing all these, and he's not charged with anything right now, Brian Hooker's not charged with anything. There's 2 criminal investigations going on, one with the Bahamian police and one with the Coast Guard Investigative Service. By the way, can I just tell you, the number of media outlets, podcasters, all these people who call the investigators FBI, it's not true. They are not FBI. So please, let's just be accurate, y'all. The lead investigators on this case are like FBI of the water. I mean, they are the Coast Guard Investigative Service. They are bad effing ass. They know their shit.
That's great.
They're doing their shit. And they seized that effing boat. They got Soulmate off the coast of Florida, and they are reaming it a new one. They are going through it with a fine-tooth comb, and it is very productive. My sources tell me things are going very, very well. The things that they were hoping were on board were on board. You know, the way.
That's such good news. See the little evidence bag there on the table? That's very good news right there. That's something's in that little bag right there.
Sailors who live aboard, how they might wire a boat with all sorts of electronics that, I don't know, have memory and show when people are on board using power and show navigational history and show battery use and all those magical things, not to mention the Starlink on the mast. Thank you, Jesus, for that Starlink on the mast, because Starlink is something you connect to when you get close to it. So if Brian and Lynette connected to Starlink with their watches or their phones as they got near to Starlink, well, Starlink would have that history. Brian says they got nowhere near, 1,000 yards away, and boof, off she went. And then I floated for 9 hours. Okay, wait until you hear what the boatyard guy has to say about the 9 hours of floating. It's chef's kiss. Also, guess what else? I found out something, and doesn't bode well for Brian Hooker. Brian sent, you'll remember this, Brian sent messages to Jim Todd. Jim Todd is one of my favorite people on the planet. He's Hopetown Volunteer Fire and Rescue. Give generously, please. They're all volunteer. Brian sent these text messages to Jim Todd all about the search for my wife and blah, blah, blah. But, as he was spinning all his yarn, he also sent maps. And you've probably seen Brian's adorable little cartoon map showing, well, this is where I floated. Here are the arrows. Well, I have been studying those maps like crazy because I saw their super duper AI.
It had lots of bags. Good.
Bri was on his Wi-Fi creating maps. And I finally found out what maps he was getting and what AI he was using, because I think that's going to be a game changer. It has been for us in the past in true crime. The Google searches have been enough to sink so many different defendants. I can't even begin to name them all, but they're delicious whenever you see their Google searches being read to them when they're either on the stand or at the defense table and then like counting the minutes to guilty. So when Bri was making his maps.
Google saves every single search you have put in there. So if you're searching nefarious shit, you're going to get busted one day. It's every single thing is on file.
I found out it's Gemini. He's using Gemini. His AI of choice, at least for this bullshit story, was Gemini. And so Ashley's little brain started ticking away. Like, I wonder what else he used Gemini for. I wonder when else he might have been using Gemini. Like, is it possible? And I'm not saying it is because Brian Hooker's not charged with anything yet. Is it possible that that bullshit bounced off the dinghy story didn't happen and that dinghy instead did make it to Soulmate, to their sailboat?
Yes.
And the Wi-Fi all connects to the watches and the hip bone and the thigh bone and all the rest.
Yes.
Is it possible that something went wrong on board?
Yes.
Lynette was unalived on board.
Yes.
And then suddenly it's, what do I do about this?
Yes.
Ask AI. Gemini. Is all of that, any of it possible? Because if Gemini was the AI of choice for those stupid fucking maps, this is where I floated and this is what happened and blah, blah, blah. What else was Gemini used for? And what time was Gemini used? Because my friends, this is like, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for crime fighters. If you're a Googler or if you're an AIer and you're trying to clean up your mess, yeah, that's like, I'm telling you, it's just like, it's the delight of us, because I don't have to tell you, people think they're smarter than the rest of us, and they're not. So I'm just saying, Brian Hooker's not charged with anything but bri. Oh, bro. If you had your fingers doing the walking on board Soulmate, looking for like, I don't know, maybe soft sand beaches nearby in the darkness, or maybe mangrove areas that might have little cricks that you could get through. If you were doing all that, well, investigators are going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
You're busted.
Tick.
Hi, Cat H.
Talk. So there you go.
I love Ashley. I love her. She's so much like me. If any of you are watching and you don't like my swearing, well, sorry. It just means I'm passionate about what I'm talking about at the time. Tick fucking talk.
So Gemini, that's our best friend at this point, as well as Starlink, right? And as well as Lynette's Apple Watch. I still say Lynette wearing that Apple Watch when we found.
That's what my reading is told me, Kim. I'm getting that there was actually a scuffle, a struggle over the flare gun. Flat out, I'm getting they were struggling over the flare gun.
That picture of her taking selfies, and you can see that, not a tan line, folks. It's her powder pink Apple Watch band on her wrist, and suddenly it's not on her wrist. It's on board Soulmate. Well, how did that happen if she bounced off the back of the dinghy on the way to Soulmate? The 46-foot sloop. Someone told me it's a Morgan. I still have to check that, and I also had the value wrong. Okay, so and Lindsay's telling me it is a Morgan. What was the year, Lindsay? It's a 46-foot sloop. It's a Morgan, and I thought it was worth somewhere around $100,000, but apparently he paid around $52,000 for it, something like that. So half the value that I thought it was. Oh, Lindsay's telling me it's a 1980 Morgan. Still a lovely boat, I think. I love sailboats. I've spent a lot of time on sailboats. I love sailing. I've captained a 40. I crewed on a 44-foot CNC back in the day, and I captained, I think it was a 36-foot CNC in the Whitsunday Islands in Australia. But I still had no business captaining that boat. I still don't know half of the shit that I should. So I still think it's a lovely boat. In any case. Oh, and by the way, sorry, Brian, you're not getting your boat back. It's got crime scene tape all around it. We took the video. It's sitting there at the Coast Guard station in Fort Pierce, Florida, because that's where they towed it from 40 miles offshore. And it's crime scene. And agents are getting up and down, off board and on board, taking stuff off it daily. Yeah, still happening. They're still going up and down and getting on board and off board and taking.
Okay, and this was as of 2 days ago. So fantastic news. Yay. Okay. I'm going to end that. I'm going to see. Okay, we're going to look Nancy Guthrie. I haven't really been looking at anything lately, to be honest. The clown show around Nancy's case has kind of pissed me off. So let me look here. Nothing really new in Nancy's case. Let me try News Nation. News Nation. Nothing. Nothing really new. Nothing happening in Nancy's case. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to leave it at that then. The scientists, I'm not done with the scientists. We're going to dive into the scientists. I said that we were going to. I see the scientist count is going up, which is crazy. They're now up to 18 scientists. Something is seriously wrong. Seriously wrong. Okay, and I'm always watching Epstein stuff as well in the background. Okay, well, hopefully there's charges for Brian Hooker tomorrow. And hopefully they get some scuba teams in the water and they go and find her. I don't see her washed up on shore anywhere, at least not yet. There might be the odd things slowly washing around, but I'm getting she's camouflaged under the water. For sure. It's crazy. Crazy shit. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up then and have a good night. Spend a couple hours with my husband. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much for being a part of my world and keeping my channel going and helping me reach my goals. I wanted to reach 15,000 quickly, like next month. And I want to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please help me. Please subscribe and share my channel out to everybody you know. It really, really means a lot. Yeah, see, we don't know. Nobody knows. Like I see there's rumors flying around all over about Nancy's case, right? Which happens with every case. But nobody knows if there was any word of a loan from Nancy. Nobody knows that. So I don't know. You too, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And tomorrow, members, group readings members, okay, those of you that are tier number 2 members, we're doing a live stream tomorrow for you guys. Okay, so keep an eye on your notifications. And so we're doing a group readings live tomorrow for members. And I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. And I will catch you tomorrow. It's jammy time. Talk to you later. Bye.